Hello, thank you for tuning in. This is lesson 2.1. Alright, so it's been a while since you last seen me, class. There's some things that are a little bit different. For example, I have a haircut now. I let my girlfriend cut my hair. It actually turned out to be pretty great. Hopefully I get to see some of you guys soon during office hours or whatever. Before we begin, please make sure you have a pen or pencil to begin. Your notes either in loose leaf or if you printed them out, here they are. And some your glossary, and also some headphones if you need them. Alright, let's begin. Alright, so the agenda for today. The do first, we're going to set up the paper and activate prior knowledge, the lesson objective, the reviewing old stuff, learning new stuff, and the exit ticket. Alright, now, this should be your do first. Please go ahead, take 5 minutes to complete the do first, put everything in the word bank that is in the Venn diagram. Go ahead and pause now. Are you paused? Let's move on. Alright, so if you have a loose leaf sheet of paper, all you had to do is just draw the two circles, and we're going to go ahead and go over our answers. So, for the runaway scrape, the Texans had time to get the reinforcements they needed, ordered by Sam Houston, and it was caused by the Texan loss at the Battle of the Alamo. For the massacre at Goliad, the Mexican army executed many Texan soldiers, you remember? The Texans surrendered to the Mexican army, and it was caused by James Fannon's mistake. So one thing they had in common was that they had the Texas leaders had a choice to protect resources or their safety. Sam Houston protected their their resources, and James Fannin wanted to protect their soldiers. They wanted to wait for soldiers to come back, but it didn't go well. Some announcements. Alright, it was great to see y'all on Thursday for the family gathering. Over 50 people were in that call. It was awesome. It was hectic. I loved it. Thanks for those of y'all who have reached out during office hours. Let me know if you have any questions at all, or if you just want to catch up. And I'm going to be issuing a challenge. Send me your notes, a picture of your notes through Teams for both this lesson and the next lesson, for a chance to win pizza delivery at your house. Kevin Colon is going to be our first winner because he's the only one who sent pictures of the notes without me even asking him. All right. So let's begin with our lesson. Unit 5, Texas Revolution, the Battle of San Jacinto. Students will be able to identify the Battle of San Jacinto as the final battle of the Texas Revolution and describe its outcome. So many of y'all probably have visited this landmark. It is the San Jacinto Monument Museum. It is actually very close to here, and it was the stage of the last battle of the Texas Revolution. Throughout the lesson, I will be referring to Texans as Texians. They're both the same way. They're just spelled a little different. It's just a historical way of saying Texans. Alright, let's review some old stuff. The runaway scrape allowed Sam Houston and the Texan army to gather reinforcements after their loss at the Battle of the Alamo. Some Texans viewed Sam Houston's decision to retreat as cowardly and worried that it was a sign Texas was about to lose the revolution. But the runaway scrape turned out to be what allowed the Texan army to grow in strength and be ready to defeat the Mexican army. Question 1. Describe, remember what describes in class? Identify plus 2 details. How some Texans viewed the runaway scrape. Some Texans view the runaway scrape as a cowardly move and as a sign that Texas was about to lose the Texas Revolution. Go ahead and take a minute, pause now to write that down. Number 2, identify. Here is your evidence for number 1. And number 2, identify. Identify names what class? Name it. So, you are going to name both Texas battle cries. Now, none of the cries are here in the paragraph, but you should at least know of one. Both Texas battle cries were Remember the Alamo and Remember Goliad. Those were the 2 Texas battle cries, and you'll see them a little bit later. Take a moment now to pause and write those down. Alright, some new stuff. Finally, let's get to some new stuff. So we're going to be talking about April 20th, April 21st in the morning, and April 21st in the afternoon. That's it, just span of 2 days. So San Jacinto, Texas, April 20th, 1836. So you see here a map of San Jacinto, and this is where Sam Houston gathered his army of 900 men and marched to San Jacinto in Harris County. It is 27 minutes away from Northside, y'all, and I really wanted to make a bid trip to go over there and explore where the actual battle happened, where hundreds of people died. Santa Anna's 700-man army arrived a few hours later. The Texas and Mexican army, they made camps on both sides, on different sides of the Buffalo Bayou. They were only 500 yards apart. So imagine 5 lengths of our soccer field. That's how far away they were. That is not far. That is not far at all. This land was very familiar to the Texians, but unknown to the Mexicans, who chose a vulnerable spot, meaning it was very dangerous for them to camp out along the riverbank. Let's go ahead, teacher model. Number 3, list the advantages the Texans army had over the Mexican army. So all you're going to do is just list out 2 things that the Texans had over the Mexican army. The first one, let me show you. The Texans had more troops, 900 versus 700. This would be your evidence. Please make sure you're circling on your notes where your answer for 3A comes from. And for 3B, the land was familiar to Texans but not Mexicans. This would be your evidence right here. Please take a moment to circle what you need and write down your answers for numbers 3. Go ahead and pause now if you need more time. Awesome. So, the next day, April 21st, 1836. This is in the very, very morning. So, by 9 a.m., more Mexican troops have arrived, and now Mexicans outnumber the Texians 1,200 to 900. However, the Texan troops were exhausted from traveling all night without food, so they decided to take a siesta, or a little nap. And I know some of you guys know what naps are. You guys took them in my class. I'm looking at you, Justin Silva. I'm looking at you. I'm kidding, just Justin. I hope you're doing okay, Justin. So Santa Anna gave them time to rest before they got into battle. But, kind of like this. But during the nap, Sam Houston sent a historical, very, very important guy in Texas history, Deaf Smith, to destroy a bridge to cut off Santa Anna's escape route. This is Deaf Smith. And he destroyed a bridge that kind of looked like this. So, number 4. This is where you guys are going to be doing this by yourself. Go ahead and take 2 minutes to identify the army that had more soldiers. Please make sure to circle your evidence and answer the question in a complete sentence. Start now. Okay, that seems to be enough time. So, identify equals name it, right? And so, who had the most soldiers? The army that had the more soldiers were the Mexican army, 1,200 to 900. This is your evidence. Please go ahead and circle your evidence and answer the question now if you haven't. Let's move on. So later that afternoon on April 21st, 1836, around 4 p.m., the Texan army started quietly creeping through the tall grass, dragging behind their 2 cannons behind them. They were known as the Twin Sisters. So the cannons were fired. Boom! The Texan troops ascended on the Mexican camp yelling, "Remember the Alamo, remember the Goliad." Told you those 2 would come along in a bit. So they were charging like the Avengers were charging through the woods. They were yelling this, "Remember the Alamo, remember the Goliad." And while the Texans were attacking, the Mexicans were still asleep. They were sleeping. So they were caught by surprise, and only 18 minutes later, the battle was over. Over 650 Mexican soldiers were killed, and only 11 Texans were killed. Santa Anna was captured, and the Texians had won the Texas Revolution. That's right, Texas has won its independence from Mexico. Alright, now, it's your turn again to answer number 5, identify how long the battle lasted, and number 6, identify the army that won the Battle of San Jacinto. Please go ahead and pause now and answer those questions in a complete sentence, and don't forget to label your evidence. Great. So identify means name it. You guys know that. How long did the battle lasted? The battle lasted 18 minutes. This is your evidence. And number 6, name it. The army who won the Battle of San Jacinto. The army that won the Battle of San Jacinto was the Texan Army. We won. Alright. Make sure you guys review your notes before you take the Microsoft Word exit ticket. Please go ahead and complete that after this video. And as always, see you soon. The next lesson is the next video. Lesson 2.2, and those are the treaties of Velasco. I hope to see you soon. Please watch the next video as well. Bye-bye.